We're going to dive into a lot of different topics around what we as women really have to navigate from like cravings and body. And Charmaine really helps women with tools and her knowledge in this area. So, welcome to the show, Charmaine.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
So, why is paying attention to your body really so important?
I think especially with the people I work with, women, probably some of your listeners, like women who are just very ambitious and they're entrepreneurs and they have a lot of goals and they're very driven. A lot of us tend to be very results oriented and we tend to do the work at all costs to get the results we want. And in the middle of all that, we tend to disconnect from ourselves. We tend to disconnect from our own bodies, and that's where issues happen. It's like that's when we stop eating foods that are serving us, or that's when we stop moving or sleeping appropriately. That's when there's that disconnection between us and our body. We're not listening to our body, we're ignoring, we're pushing, we're hustling. When we go into that, then that's when all the physical, that's when you start. If you start ignoring the subtle body cues, then you'll start to get a diagnosis like me, where you're pre-diabetic, and then, or maybe your blood pressure's elevated, and then you're like, what the heck? Now my body's messed up. When did this happen? And so a lot of us as women, like we care about our health, but when we are ignoring our body, it's starting to create this, I guess, this risk for hurting ourselves more than we realize, and then also compromising our business and our relationships and things like that. When we all of a sudden have to wake up and we'll be like, oh dang, we actually aren't as healthy as we think. So yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, it really is, I think, easy for us to ignore a lot of maybe some aches and pains or the little signals that our body tells us that maybe something's off or something's wrong because we are just trying to push through and I can do this and I got a million things on my plate. But like our bodies tell us, right? Like they give us these little cues along the way.
And it's a lot of it is emotional cues too. Like it could be physical, but for me, especially, the stress was a cue that I wasn't wanting to listen to, because we're in the society that's conditioned a lot that feeling stress, feeling emotions is, it's like negative or it's bad or it sets you back. But what I realized is when I was feeling stress and then I stopped eating in response to the stress, and I just had to deal, like I just had to be with my stress, I realized then I had to look at the root of, okay, why am I having this stress? And when I started looking at the root of it, that's when I grew, because the stress was only coming up because it was revealing to me, like whenever you have pain of some sort, emotional or physical, it's like your body's way of telling you, hey, something needs to change. And when you listen to that and when you change that, that's when your life will start to transform for the better. So because I listened to my body's stress signals, I realized for myself, oh, I'm stressed because I'm having issues with people in the workplace. Like I was struggling a lot with getting along with coworkers and not delegating and not being a good leader. So when I had to just face and confront my fears and my issues, that's when I worked on myself, and that's when I became a better leader. That's when I had better relationships. So there's so much that could come out of leaning into the negative energy that our body's presenting to us, because it's only there because something needs to be not necessarily fixed, but something needs your attention, basically.
Yeah, and it's paying attention to the physical manifestation of it can lead you to, okay, what is the emotional side that's causing this in the first place? So I know you like to use somatic work to help your clients. What are different tools that you use, different approaches to help your clients get unstuck from habitual patterns that really aren't serving them?
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of, I went through my own journey of just trying to figure out like what really resonates the most with me and my clients. And when I first started out as a coach a few years ago, I was doing a lot of mindset work, like kind of like cognitive behavioral therapy sort of work, like really focused on mindset and changing your thoughts and things like that. So I was doing that in the beginning, but what I found over the years was only focusing on mindset doesn't create lasting results. Like it's kind of like people could change their thoughts for a moment, but then for some reason, their old habits will come back. Like, even though they lose weight for a few months working with me, after they work with me, then they'll start reverting back to their old patterns. And I kept wondering, like, why do my clients keep gaining weight, like, after they work with me? And I realized part of the reason is they weren't addressing the energy in their body. They weren't addressing the deeper, like, the energy and the emotions that we actually keep in our body. So it's, if you have stress or if there's something that's triggering you to eat, it's not just your mind that intellectually knows that you want food. It's also your body that remembers that. Like, your body actually remembers that emotionally, what makes you feel good, what makes you feel bad. So you have to address that, because if not, if your body remembers every time you're stressed, you want to eat something, you're going to want to eat it, even though intellectually that you shouldn't have it. So you might be wondering, okay, how do you get your body on board? What does that even mean? What are you talking about? So basically, what I'm studying now, I'm currently being certified to be an EFT practitioner and things like that. But basically, your body, based on traditional Chinese medicine, your body has these channels, these meridian channels that where energy flows. And sometimes if you have like emotional stress or physical pain, it could indicate you have some kind of blockage in that channel, in that meridian channel. And if you don't unblock it, that's what leads to the emotional habitual patterns. So I found that things like tapping on your body, tapping certain points on your body can actually tell your brain, it could tell the part of your brain that activates fight or flight mode, the amygdala. It can actually alert your brain that you're safe, that you don't need to go into that habitual pattern, and it could help release hormones that help you feel better without food. So tapping on certain points in your body, it's like magic. It's like it could unblock the energy and it could just make you feel better just only by tapping on points, rather than, say, turning to food for comfort. I know I threw a lot out there. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I love it. The EFT tapping as an approach to reprogram your brain a little bit. It's almost like these habits become like muscle memory. And so how do we like retrain ourselves out of that? Or even I'm thinking of the brain, like, because you mentioned the amygdala. So like, how do we create new neural pathways that won't have us doing the same old thing?
You described it so eloquently. That's like perfect. But yeah, exactly. I was trying to help my clients in the past, like with changing habits. I was trying to tell them, oh, you could change your thoughts, but it just wouldn't resonate. It wouldn't land with them, because in their body, the body would just remember, like you said, the muscle memory. It would just keep reaching for the food anyway, regardless of what your brain thinks. I'm going to get the food, whatever, I'm not going to listen to you. So tapping on certain acupressure points on your body could help to, first of all, let your nervous system calm down, help create safety in your nervous system. And then it could help interrupt that habit in a more kind of tangible way, and let your body know, okay, we're not going to do this habit. We're not going to just reach for the food. We're going to like pause. We're going to let the energy flow and not keep doing the pattern that's not serving us.
Yeah, it sounds like it goes to like just a deeper part of you to stop that behavior instead of what you said earlier, just changing the behavior is not going to be enough. It's like you have to break the habit on a deeper level. And so it works really well for things like overcoming cravings and sugar and like what you put in your body. And I know you also use tapping for body confidence and self-worth. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I feel like body work and self-image, body image, I feel like that's some of the deepest work we could do. I know when I've worked on myself, it's still an ongoing journey for me. And also when I work with my clients, there's just like a lot of deeply rooted beliefs that we have around our body that's formulated since we're young, especially as women. We're just taught a lot of societal conditioning and things about what our body should look like, and told things by people around us, like our family, our parents, like our friends, and things like that, about what our body should look like. And so we have a lot of associations of like self-worth and things like that with the body. And just like what I found is, if you tell someone to if you tell a client, oh, just believe that you're more beautiful or whatever, like that won't resonate with them, because it emotionally, they have feelings about their body, especially with shame or a lot of like heavy emotion around their body, that's basically ingrained in the body. And I don't know, some people say, you could say it's trapped or whatnot, but there's a lot of emotions that your body stored based on how you think about yourself over the years. And so what I found is, if you tap on your body, not only does it help to just free up those emotions and unblock the meridians and unblock the energy that's stored in your body, like that's almost kind of like a trauma response, like where you're releasing that energy, but it also creates a connection with you and your body. Like when you just touch your body, like if you just put your hand on your heart, like if you just put two hands on your chest, like over your heart, that already helps to create connection with you and your body. Just like that physical touch, a lot of women loathe their bodies. We don't want to look at it. We don't want to touch it. Like it could even lead to intimacy issues. If there's women having intimacy issues, it's rooted in like there's something, they lack connection with their own body. They don't even want to touch their body. So even just like creating a practice where you are touching your body by tapping or massaging, it helps to create a relationship with your body where there's some intimacy, like you're starting to create intimacy with it. And when you have that intimacy, just like in a physical relationship, right? If you love someone, like the physical intimacy, it's like developing that for yourself. And that can help, that could be on the path to creating more intuition with your body and listening to your body. It could be the beginning of that kind of relationship with yourself.